Hey Knicks fans, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into some absolutely incredible news that's going to make every longtime Knicks fan's heart swell with pride. I'm talking, of course, about Jalen Brunson's contract extension. Now, I've got to be honest with you all. When I first saw this news, I had to pinch myself. We're not used to breaks like this as Knicks fans, are we? But here we are, and it's not just a break. It's a game changer that could reshape the future of our franchise. Let's put this into perspective for a moment. Jalen Brunson, our MVP candidate, just signed an extension that's being called unprecedented by none other than Woj himself. And let me tell you, that's not an exaggeration. In fact, if anything, it might be an understatement. Here's the deal. Brunson is giving up $113 million by signing this $156 million extension now, instead of waiting for a potential $269 million deal next summer. Just let that sink in for a moment. That's nearly twice what he's earned in his entire 6-year career so far. This isn't just a pay cut, it's a sacrifice on a scale we rarely see in professional sports these days. To put this in context, let's look at what passes for sacrifice in the NBA nowadays. Just last week, LeBron James was talking about his 7-year relationship with the Lakers and how both sides need to contribute to make a relationship work. He ended up giving up less than $3 million on a deal that paid him over $100 million. And keep in mind, LeBron's already made nearly $500 million on NBA contracts alone. We've seen veterans like Dirk Nowitzki and Tim Duncan take discounts late in their careers. Nowitzki famously took a 3-year, $25 million deal to return to the Mavericks in 2014 when he could have earned nearly 4 times as much. But Nowitzki was already in his mid-30s at that point. Duncan also took pay cuts to stay with the Spurs, but again, he was an established veteran. Brunson, on the other hand, is just entering his prime. He could have waited until next year's free agency and been eligible for a max contract worth a projected $269.1 million over 5 years. Instead, he chose to commit to the Knicks now, at a significantly lower price. So when we talk about Brunson's deal being unprecedented, we're not exaggerating. This is a whole different level of commitment to a team and a city. Now you might be wondering, why would Brunson do this? Well, it's clear he's thinking about the team's future. It seems he's fallen in love with New York, the franchise, his teammates, and Coach Tibbs. He values the security of a guaranteed contract now. He knows about the restrictions on high-spending teams under the new CBA, and he's giving our front office invaluable room to maneuver and keep us contending for years to come. This decision will allow the Knicks to navigate the salary cap and stay under the dreaded second apron, which is crucial for maintaining flexibility in building a contender. Now, let's talk about what this means for the Knicks' future, because this deal is a real game changer. It gives us much more flexibility under the salary cap, especially with the new CBA rules. We can now realistically stay under the dreaded second apron, which is projected to be around $207.8 million for the 2025-26 season. Why does this matter? Well, if we go over that threshold, we lose access to valuable resources like the mid-level exception and the ability to make most trades. By keeping Brunson's salary lower, we have a much better chance of staying under this limit and maintaining our flexibility to improve the team. To give you an idea of our cap situation, in the first year of Brunson's new deal, 2025-26, we'll have about $153.2 million committed to 9 players. Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Dante DiVincenzo, Miles McBride, Pacome Dadiet, and Tyler Kolek. That gives us plenty of room to work with under that $207.8 million threshold. But don't worry about Jalen. He's still setting himself up nicely for the future. With a player option in the final year of this deal, he could opt out in 3 years and sign a new contract worth up to $323 million over 4 years. So in a way, good things really do come to those who wait. Of course, there was a risk in waiting to sign next summer. A lot can happen in a year. Just ask Isaiah Thomas, who went from talking about Brinks trucks to settling for NBA minimum contracts in about that long. By signing now, Brunson more than doubles his career earnings and ensures financial security for his family for generations to come. But here's the thing that really gets me excited as a Knicks fan. Jalen Brunson made this sacrifice to stay here, to play for us, to compete for a championship in New York. This isn't just about money. It's about commitment. It's about belief in what we're building here. It's about a player looking at our franchise, our city, our fans, and saying, "This is where I want to be. This is where I want to make history." Folks, we're witnessing something special here. Jalen Brunson isn't just a great player. He's becoming the face of our franchise, a true New York sports icon. He's showing the kind of loyalty and commitment that we as fans dream about from our star players. Think about the journey we've been on with Brunson. It started with us signing him as a free agent, which was a big deal in itself. Then we watched him evolve into an MVP candidate, leading our team to new heights. And now, with this extension, he's cementing his place in Knicks history. And let's not forget, this is a player who's already proven his worth on the court. Brunson has been nothing short of sensational since joining the Knicks, evolving into an all-star caliber player and an MVP candidate. He's the engine that drives our offense, the clutch performer we turn to in big moments. And now he's also the team-first leader who's willing to sacrifice for the greater good of the franchise. This deal is a win-win for everyone involved. The Knicks get to keep their star player on a team-friendly deal that gives them flexibility to improve the roster. Brunson gets long-term security and the chance to become a legend in the biggest market in the NBA. And we, the fans, get to watch this incredible player lead our team for years to come. This move also speaks volumes about the culture that the Knicks organization has built. From the front office to the coaching staff to the players, we've created an environment that players want to be a part of. That's a far cry from where we were just a few years ago, and it's a testament to the hard work and vision of everyone involved in the organization. So, what does this all mean for the future of the Knicks? Well, with Brunson locked in on a team-friendly deal, we have the flexibility to continue improving our roster. We can pursue free agents, make trades, and build around our core of Brunson, Bridges, and Anunoby. Julius Randle extension? But with all this being said, let's address the elephant in the room. Why haven't Randle and the Knicks agreed on an extension yet? On the surface, it seems like a no-brainer. Randle's back with CAA, he's coming off another injury, and he seems to like New York. But here's where things get complicated. Randle just watched OG Anunoby get a massive payday, and he's probably thinking, "Hey, I've got more All-NBA appearances and All-Star selections. Where's my big contract?" The Knicks can offer Randle up to $181.5 million over 4 years starting August 3rd. But here's the kicker. Randle might be eyeing that Paul George deal with the Sixers. 4 years, $212 million. And let's not forget, Randle's 4 years younger than PG. He might be thinking he's worth even more. In fact, another team could potentially offer Randle up to 4 years and $233 million next summer. Even if you shave $10 million a season off that max offer, it's still more than the Knicks can give him on an extension right now. Remember, Randle arguably took a discount once when he extended back in 2021. Maybe he's not in the mood to do it again. Now, let's look at this from the Knicks' perspective. They've got two main concerns. 1, staying under the second apron in future seasons. 2, maintaining flexibility for potential trades. Remember how they handled the Emmanuel Quickley situation? They balked at his asking price and didn't offer him a rookie extension close to his preferred number. They might be taking a similar approach with Randle, even though he's been a key player for the team. But here's where it gets interesting. If they don't extend Randle this summer, it opens up a whole can of worms. Randle could become an unrestricted free agent next year, and we've seen how that can play out with guys like Paul George and DeMar DeRozan leaving their teams for minimal return. To get a better picture of how this might play out, I looked at significant free agent decisions over the last 5 years. Here's what I found. Most of the league's best players don't hit free agency anymore. They either sign extensions or get traded before that happens. The players who do leave in free agency are often ones their original teams were happy to let go, or at least weren't desperate to keep. So, what are the Knicks' options? Well, they could. 1. Pay Randle whatever it takes to keep him. 2. Sign and trade him for a different star next summer. 3. Move him this summer. Option 2 is a long shot after the Bridges trade ate up most of our draft capital. And option 3? Well, it's tricky to find a trade that makes sense for all parties and doesn't make the Knicks worse. The Knicks can't afford to swing a trade that makes them worse this season, especially now that they've made the Bridges deal. Could you construct Randle deals that could be considered lateral moves but provide less long-term risk? It's tough. Players like Trae Young, Zach LaVine, or Darius Garland either don't make sense for the Knicks or are simply worse assets. They don't have enough to get Lauri Markkanen. The Wolves seem set to start next season with Karl Anthony Towns. If New York is gun-shy about paying Randle, it's hard to imagine they'd feel much differently about Brandon Ingram. Jeremy Grant is probably too steep a step down as a driver of offense to make that swap. But here's a wild card for you. What about a trade with the Houston Rockets? A Randle for Jalen Green and Steven Adams swap could work under the cap and fill our backup center hole. Green is barely 22 years old, repped by CAA, and fresh off a 15-game stretch where he averaged an efficient 29, 6, and 4 at the end of last season. Maybe Green's ceiling is high enough where the Knicks would bite the bullet on his relative inexperience. Plus, Randle being from Texas probably doesn't hurt. Now, this is just speculation, but if you're looking for potential deals, there aren't many better ones I can find. In the end, my guess is that if Randle's on the team entering training camp this year, he'll be here next year too. The Knicks will likely offer that $181.5 million deal on August 3rd, and if Randle says no, they'll probably do what it takes to keep him next summer and worry about the consequences later. Yes, that might make it very difficult for the Knicks to stay under the second apron in 25-26, but again, this might be the best of a few bad options, or it could just further embolden them to do something drastic in the weeks ahead. Here's the bottom line, Knicks fans. The Julius Randle situation is complex. On one hand, he's been a key player for us, making multiple All-Star teams and All-NBA appearances. On the other hand, the financial implications of a max contract could limit our flexibility moving forward. The Knicks front office has some tough decisions to make. Do they pay Randle whatever it takes to keep him, potentially limiting their ability to improve the team in other ways? Do they try to trade him now and risk disrupting the team's chemistry? Or do they wait it out and risk losing him for nothing in free agency? Whatever happens, it's clear that the Knicks are at a crossroads. The decisions they make regarding Randle could shape the future of the franchise for years to come. But back to Jalen Brunson. I've got to say, in all my years of watching and rooting the Knicks, I've never felt quite like this about something that happened off the court. Make no mistake, this is a momentous occasion for our franchise. It's a signal to the rest of the league that the Knicks are back, that we're a destination where stars want to play, and that we're building something special here in New York. So Knicks fans, how are you feeling about this extension? Are you as excited as I am? Do you think this sets us up for a championship run in the coming years? Also, should we extend Randle? Trade him? Let him play out his contract and see what happens? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you're feeling as good about being a Knicks fan as I am right now, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot to look forward to with Jalen Brunson leading the way, and you won't want to miss a moment of our coverage. Before we wrap up, I just want to say, Jalen Brunson, you've won our hearts. You're the king of New York, the face of our franchise. We can't wait to see what you'll do next in the orange and blue.